So today we're going to talk about images and why they make a difference, because they do. People, a lot of people don't realize just how important that is. And you're thinking, Jerry, it's just pictures, it's just images, it's not anything big deal. But let's dive into it and let me explain to you the reason why. Because it's not just the fact that you can do a feature, that's kind of sort of important, but it's the application of that feature and the why. Why is it important? Because a lot of times they are. And in this case, I think you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's take a look at where images apply and where they pop into the equation and what they do for the end user. So in this case, we're going to start with the login screen. This is the actual 10 keypad, the login screen. You can have up to 8 changeable images that pop up behind the 10 keypad. These images can be related to the restaurant, and that it can be pictures of the restaurant. It can be images of their dishes. It can be today's specials to give a constant reminder to the operators of what the specials are. They can be messages that are pertaining to the operation or pertaining to the employees, what they need to know to be successful. These change every 30 seconds. So these images are constantly moving and changing to give a fresh look to the system. This then allows for the end user, the actual server of using the system, to have input and communications from ownership to them, more than just a pop-up little window, which you can also do that as well. So in this case, the login screen is where it starts, where the images start. You should have a image or images on your demo system. And what I would do specifically, if I was going into a restaurant, I would have images related to that restaurant. I'd have a picture of their outside restaurant. I have pictures of their inside. I would have something to do with that particular operation to get them involved and have ownership of the demo. I'd start it right then. So they could see how this could then be integrated into their operation. Next place where the images apply is our order types. You may not realize it, but you can put an image on the button to help enhance and bring a little more life to the order taking process. Having an image like you're seeing here allows the operator to distinctly find the delivery. So you can look at the screen right now and you'll see where the delivery button is simply by the little guy on the scooter. There's interesting ways and creative ways that you can bring ownership to that terminal, to the system and solution. There are 6 order types, and you can have pictures and images on each one of these. Next up, where images apply, is on the item screen. Kind of an apparent obvious. Every image, every item can have an image, but that tends to be overkill, because here's a way that you use it to increase speed of service. That's the true value to this. Companies have spent billions of dollars training us as users to recognize their logo. Pepsi and Coke have spent billions trying to teach us to look for their logos. All the beers guys, they have taught us how to look for their logo. Putting a Coke or a Pepsi logo on the button rather than the word Coke or Pepsi, actually the image will draw the eye of the user, and they'll find that button quicker and be able to bring up the order a little bit faster. Where you can get into a little bit of confusion with images, if you put a cheeseburger and a hamburger together, really hard to tell the difference. But you can certainly tell the difference between a Coke and Diet Coke simply by the image. Integrate those into your demo system and then integrate those into the operation, and that will help speed up the order taking process. Buttons with images attract the image and attract the eye of the user. That will help speed up the process. Another along that same line, modifiers. All the modifiers can have an image. This also attracts the eye of the operator and brings more a little more speed of service. Even our modifiers modifying a modifier, sub-modifiers can have an image. So sub-modifiers as well as modifiers can have images, and you really should sprinkle some of those into your demo to bring a more life to it. Then obviously we can also do the detail. There's a detail image. Now this is where when you take your two fingers and touch the button, and it then pops up the detailed screen, which has the image as well as a description. This description helps sell the product. Now, what image do you put? Do you put the same image on that you do your button? No, don't do that. Be more creative than that. Maybe the image is going to be what the product looks plated, a plated view, what it's supposed to look like when it comes out of the kitchen. That's an option. Another option is maybe you're going to show an allergy alert. On the right-hand side, you'd have the description of the list of items in that dish that might have some allergies that are associated with this. Is there a nut? Is it created with a peanut oil? Things like that can be verbally described and pop up, but also you can have a warning picture on that display that will then alert that user that maybe there's a problem there that they should address with the end user. You can also show the recipe. A lot of bars would use this if they have an unusual drink. Well, pop that up, and now you see a picture of that drink, how it should look, and then on the right is a description of the recipe on how to create that drink. Another place, critical place, is a kiosk. It's simply a must for a kiosk. You have to have images on a kiosk operation in order for the end user, the user of the terminal, to ring up their own order. You really have to have these images. This also includes the categories that are down the left-hand side of the screen. Categories can have images as well on the point of sale and in the kiosk. This is a must, gotta have. Same thing for Mesa. This is another must-have area where you have to have the images in order to create the order. The end user is just they're gonna order with their eyes. This is just a much better way to do it. And again, it does include categories. So two must-have areas are kiosk and Mesa. Another place that images apply are in the table management areas. This allows you to have icons can be used then for each of the tables, and they can actually denote the number of seats. I've seen icons on one of my demos. I have a table with 2 chairs, and I have a table with 4 chairs. I have an oval table with 6 chairs. So this helps visually identify the table rather than having just a square with a number. You do want to have the different sections can have different icons for each section. I use on my patio, I have tables with tents and umbrellas. On my dine-in, I have tables with chairs, and whether they're oval or booth, you can have the different icons depending based upon the actual table that you're showing. One thing you do need to do though is make sure that they're PNG files. A PNG file is kind of a see-through. So if you do that with a PNG file, you can have the table icon and still get the color of the status, because the status of the table is shown by color. So the blues and the reds and the gold, those colors come through a PNG image so that you can still see that. So those are the areas that we have the ability to have images. So I'm going to stop now, and we're going to now have Lex take over, and he's going to show you how to set these up and give you explanations on the size of images and how to load them.
All right, hi guys. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so the first one we're gonna start off is the login screen. To get into the login screen, we're gonna go to Settings, Store Config, General Config, and then we want to be on the Store section here. And then from here, you just minimize the general information, and then on the bottom you'll see App Theme Options. This is where you're gonna upload your logo, your backgrounds. So there are two different backgrounds. There's a static background and a dynamic background. Obviously, the static is just if you just have one image, you can use this. But if you have rotating images, you'd want to use the dynamic background. And the file size has to be 4 MB or less. Now, to upload the logo, you just click on the upload button here. And then you're going to search for the logo or the item that you want to select. I'm going to go ahead and click on open, and you can preview the logo button here. On the dynamic background, you can upload up to 8 different pictures here. So let's go ahead and upload 2. And you can preview the pictures here as well. Once you're done, you can click save. And then the next step is the order types. So since I'm in the general configuration already, we just need to go scroll up and then click on the services. And then on the bottom, there are order type options. This is where you're going to upload your dine-in, bar, takeout, drive-through delivery. And then if you have retail, you can then upload a picture on that as well. The image will be uploaded to the dine-in icon. Just click on the upload button and then select your picture that you want to upload. And then once you're done, you can preview the images and then you can go ahead and click save. Next up is the group pictures or the categories. We're going to go to products and then item setup. And then on the left, we have our groups here. So to enable or to add pictures, you just need to click on the pen. And then from here, there's a button picture here that you can click on and then upload the button picture. And you can preview it. Now, there is another section in here when you click on show extended settings. If you scroll down, there's a mobile optimized button picture. This will go to your Mesa app. So it does take a smaller picture here. So on the top here, it does take 100 kilobytes or less, whereas the mobile optimized button picture takes 25 kilobytes or less. So if I upload a larger image, it will not take it. As you can see, it says file exceeds maximum of 25 kilobytes. You just need to make sure that you upload a lower resolution picture. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and click save. The next one is the item picture. So in the same area, I'm just going to click on the menu item that I want to upload the picture to. And then from here, there is a couple sections in here. There is a button picture here. So there's an upload button. And then you just need to select your picture. This one is 100 kilobytes or less. There's also a detailed picture. This is what Jerry was talking about, where you tap with 2 fingers on the screen. It does take a larger image, 250 kilobytes or less. And then if I scroll down on the bottom, there's also another section in here for your Mesa, which is the mobile optimize button picture and mobile optimized detailed picture. So you can select this. These are smaller quality images. The regular picture is 25 kilobytes or less, and then the detailed picture is 50 kilobytes or less. You can preview it as well. When you're ready, you can click save. Next up is the modifiers. So I'm going to click on the modifier setup. And then from here, I'm going to search for ranch for my testing purposes. And I'm going to select ranch dressing here. And then this also has two sections. So a button picture here, or sorry, this one. And I can click on the upload picture. Select my ranch dressing, preview it. And then there is one for mobile optimize button. Click on the upload, open, and then save, or you can preview before saving. The picture also shows up. So if I go back to the menu items, they actually show up on the left here as well. And then the last section is the seats or the table selection. We need to go to settings and seatings. Now there's no pictures on the group section, but there is one for the table section. So for example, if I click on the group section here, click on the pen, there's only the description name and then the routing for the print jobs here. But there is one for the actual table. So if I need to add the picture, I just need to click on the table itself. And then there's a table picture here. This one is 4 megabytes or less. And then when you're ready, you can preview and then save. And that's what I got. I'm going to transfer it back to you, Jerry.
All right, next up, I want to go into why it matters. So it's one thing to do the feature, it's another thing to apply it. And so what we're going to do now is talk about applying this feature and why it's important, because it is. First off, it gives you a competitive edge simply because your top competitors cannot use images. Cannot. They don't have it. Your top two competitors in our industry, neither of them have images. So by doing this, you're now differentiating yourself from your competition. You're setting yourself apart. And that's a key. It's key to winning in a sales situation. Why it matters is it points out a glaring shortcoming and weakness in their hardware and software. If they could do an image, they would do an image, but they can't. And this sets you apart. It shows and puts a spotlight on how weak their hardware is and how weak their software is. So get your customer involved emotionally, because people buy with emotion and justify with logic. That is a sales fact that's been around since the Stone Age. They first have to like your product before they will buy your product. Getting them involved emotionally, part of that is them liking the way it looks. And it just simply looks better when you have the right images in the right places and can utilize that as an additional selling feature. Get them involved emotionally, and then they will justify their purchase with the logic later on. Using images will give your solution a lasting impression that they'll remember long after the presentation, to the point where they will, if they look at another system later that does not have images, that it will stand out to them and it be a glaring omission on the other guy's part. It puts your competition in an impossible situation, in a negative position that they can't recover from at any cost. They can't buy themselves out of this one. They cannot recover at any price. It just simply cannot be overcome. So when you're talking about competing against other competitors, this is where I start. And it's not just the fact that they cannot do the images, it's the fact that their system is not strong enough, powerful enough, and has the ability. So that is our new way of doing our Friday classes. How do you like them? How do you like the way we're doing it? What questions do you have? You still have the same opportunity to ask us questions in the chat. You still have the same opportunity, if you'd like to, at this point, to unmute yourself and ask questions verbally. First off, I want to ask Lex a question about the images. You talked about the different ways, different sizes of images, and you saw how easy it was for him to go to his library of images and select and post. It seems like the way to make that easy is to do those ahead of time. Would you say that's true, Lex?
That's correct. Yeah. So I started saving the images with a large image first, and then I cropped it down to like a smaller image to make sure it fits. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's when I do images, I start with my library, which I have a library of images on my hard drive from various demos and tests and things. And I separate them by table images, food images, drink images, beer images. I have them in different subfolders that allows me to then quickly go get them and bam, 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 and load them in. We highly recommend you do the same thing. Stan, it's a good question, which is, do we have images that we can give you? I will tell you the short answer is no. It's from the standpoint of legalities. We don't have the rights to distribute those images, but you have the right to go get them on the internet. Google, it's real simple to do, real easy, and there's more than you can ever use right there. I know it's a pain to have to take the time, but you'll be better off for it doing it that way. Yeah, Ron, I like this new format too. This is something that was at the end of the year, the way we were doing it, it started to bother me and gnaw at me. And we had to come up with a different way, a better way. And I think this is a much better way for us to do it. Yeah, Stan, I understand. Trying to save time, I understand. I appreciate that. I do. But we have to be careful because we don't have the legal right to distribute those images. And I hope you understand. All right, what other questions? The top two competitors that I named, which I will now have to cut this out of our the video, but they can't do images. They are a rectangular button with just standard colors. Don't even get creative with the colors. So they are very plain, very very plain. I guess that's the way of putting it. And we just simply stand out. So get the images, use them in your demos. Don't plaster them everywhere. Use them selectively, with creatively, and make it part of your presentation. Talk about it. Tell them why you use images and how it will benefit the restaurant and how it will increase their speed of service. It's not just a pretty face, it's actual functionality.
and also on the images, the regular images versus the mobile images, even if you don't use the mobile images, Mesa will still take the regular images and upload it to your website for Mesa. But you can improve it by using the mobile device, so it'll upload a lot quicker. So
Mesa is critical to have images. It really is. People, the diners are they're gonna order with their eyes. If you think about your own use of your handheld units, all of them, the ones that are successful, use images. Well, Lex and I, we appreciate it. We appreciate your input and your participation. Guys, have a great week and go get your demo systems and get some images on them.